So yeah, hi guys, my name is Noma Kosi. To those who don't know me, can you please kindly subscribe to my channel? I'm listening to Radio 2000. So yeah, may you please kindly subscribe to my channel, like and share. I need your support so much. So yeah, there is a change that had happened in my life now, but I'll make a video for that. Okay, there's a shift that happened, but I'll make a specific video for that. Hence, I was not available for the whole week. The whole last week I was very busy. I couldn't even take a single video, you know. Everything was overwhelming and but it's okay. All right, so today I just want us to speak about the story of my life, part 4, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's part 4 that I promised you of. So firstly, I'm looking so crusty. I was riding the bicycle. I'm not fit. So yeah guys, I think the last time when we were doing part 3, we ended the video when I was home recovering, so I stayed home because that was June 2021. I stayed home from June, grieving, remember, June, July, yeah, June, July, and then August I had to go and look for a job, because remember where I was working, I had to leave because of the situation. The house was already burnt. There was actually nothing. I had nothing. I didn't have ID, anything. I have nothing. It was just me and the clothes that I was wearing at that time. My big sister gave me a dress, and then my younger sister bought me a gown, a nice big gown. And then at home I had some clothes at home. I bought myself, I remember as if it was yesterday, I bought myself pink tracksuits with a nice hats, just to wear on the way from Gauteng to home after hospitalization, ne? So I went home with those clothes, with nothing. We couldn't book a bus because I didn't have ID. We couldn't book even a flight if we had to fly because I didn't have an ID. So we had to take a taxi, and at that time I was sick. I couldn't breathe easy, you know. I was sick, physical, psychological, emotional, spiritual. I was sick. So yeah, we went home. My younger sister fetched me and my child from the hospital. We went home. Then when we got home, my mom and dad was there. They already knew what happened. Remember, we didn't went to the funeral. Me and my child, we didn't see his funeral. Okay. And then when we were home there, okay, I was sick. I was taken care of. I did receive a support from my family. My big sister, I remember, she came home with her husband. Even though at home I was a breadwinner, I had to go with them. I think my big sis came home with her car. Yeah, she came home with her car, and then we went to our nearest town. We bought, my father bought a goat for cleansing because we needed cleansing, me and my daughter. So we bought that goat, and I had to buy some groceries. In that state of situation, remember, I'm gonna repeat this. I was a breadwinner at home, so when something is broken, I had to fix. So a lot. It became too much. I remember the stove got broke. I had to buy another stove. In that situation, at that time, I didn't buy clothes yet. I was still sick, but most of the times I was staying in the house at home because I was sick. Okay. And I had to do this and that, okay, financially. And then time went on, right? And then I decided that, then sitting here, because I have resigned where I was working telephonically, I spoke to my matron, and she knew everything that was going on with my life at that time. I used to update her, to tell her this is what's going on, even the time when the younger brother of my baby's father tried to kill my daughter, I told my matron. So it was a shock, but she knew what was going on with me. She knew the situation. So when we were burnt in the house, she knew again. And then by the time I went out of the hospital, we spoke telephonically, and we suggested that I should just resign and go away, right? So I resigned. So I didn't have a job afterwards, so I stayed home for those 2 months, and then I had to go and look for another job, right? So I went, I stayed with my younger sister where she was staying at that time. That was 2021, towards the end of the year. I stayed with her, even though I didn't like the place. But almost when you are desperate and when someone's offering help, you just take, okay? Okay, I remember my mom, before I went with my younger sister to stay with her, my mom gave me money to buy a uniform, nursing uniform. I didn't have uniform, remember, I had nothing. I bought uniform from home. I took my old clothes at home. Then I went with my younger sister. I stayed with her. She was staying in a one room. She was renting a room where she was staying, so we stayed together. Okay, we stayed there. I worked in hospital that I don't want to mention. I went there. I worked under agency while I was still grieving like that. From the 3rd month of his passing, that is where I started working, because he passed on June, July, August. I had to go and start all over again. I worked under agency. I was working in ICU. I worked August, September, October, November, December. Even though I don't remember quite well, but I think I moved out before December, because I remember there was a Christmas. Yes, that same year, Christmas, I was alone. Now I was staying alone. What pushed me to move out from my sister, I didn't like the environment, guys. I don't want to lie. And I told her that, this environment is not for me, but because I'm desperate anyway, and I didn't have money, I didn't have anything, so I need from just for time being. Okay, then I told her that, sis, you've helped me a lot, so now I think it's time to stand by myself. I want to move out, and I want to look for my own room. I want to start. I feel like I'm ready to start. For me, you guys, I feel like I didn't have time to grieve. I didn't have time to heal. Well, I went look for a job. I went to this other hospital When I went there, I went to their HR. Okay, we spoke, and then they told me to go what to look for working under agency, and to ask for which agencies are they using in that hospital. Okay, I worked night shift, but under agency, ne? I was not yet permanent. I worked and worked trying to fix my things. That is when I started to make myself ID, my nursing certificates. I had to go to nursing council, do the applications, and then okay, life started gradually, you know. I had to make my daughter a birth certificate. I had to go to Home Affairs and fill up the applications. You know, everything has got a waiting period. So life went on, fast forward. And then I was staying in a room at that time. Okay, life went on until I got permanent post. In 2022, I got a permanent post in 2022, where I was moonlighting. I got a permanent post. I was so excited. I phoned my parents. I told them that, I got a permanent post. So it was God who took me from my sister to the other side to stand alone, literally. So I was so excited, you guys. I was so excited that now in my condition, I'm going to have a medical aid. So I'm going to be able to take care of myself. I'm going to be able to do everything, you know. Life went on and on. Fast forward. Okay, as time went by, I then decided to look for a better place to stay, because where I was staying, I'm not saying it wasn't a nice place. It was a nice place, and the landlords were staying there with us as rentals. It was a line of rooms, 1. I was paying 900 rent per month. So they were nice people. The Malulekes, I still miss them till today. They were nice people, Shem. Okay, and then I looked for a nicer place and sought something better, you know. Hence, I got a permanent post now. Okay, fast forward, I got a place. I went home. I fetched my car. Went home, fetched my car, came back, I stayed there. Life went on. I worked. I started buying myself clothes. I started buying my daughter clothes. I started buying myself furniture, you know. And okay, life went on. I worked, started saving some money. Remember, I'm still sending money home because that time my daughter was still staying at home with my mom. I was still starting over again, remember? So my daughter was staying at home with my parents. So I had to buy her clothes. I had to buy myself clothes. Okay, life went on. So you guys, I didn't tell you, since I have started vlogging, I didn't tell you I have two other kids. I have two kids that I got home before I met Muntuza's father. I had two kids, boys. I have two boys that were staying home ever since they were born. I got them when I was still staying at home. So by the time when I was staying with Baba Muntuza, well, in a relationship with him, I had children at home, two kids. He had one child at that time. Before God gave us Muntuza, he had one child. I had two boys. He had a girl. Okay, and then me and him together, we made Muntuza, right? Okay, this is where I want to go. I don't want to mention a lot of things because this video is gonna be long because it's a lot. Guningi. Guningi. But I'll just give you clues. My life has never been easy. I'm not going to explain why we separated, me and the boy's father, but it happened back then when I was still staying in KZN, you know. Okay, fast forward. Remember I said I stayed with my sister to start all over again, ne? Where she was renting a room. So when I was there, I'm a spiritual person. I've been a spiritual person. I used to see things. Some of the things that I would see, I would not tell anyone because I would be told, do not tell anyone. Do you understand? Since I've been a child, I've been like that. Since I was born, I've been like that. I've been seeing unseen things. I've been talking to unseen people, which is spirits. Okay, today I heal. I've never went for Utwasa. I don't know what's that. I have no understanding of that. Nah. So while I was staying with my sister, I used to see visions, more visions about the death of my baby's father, especially about him and you know, I used to see deeper things, deeper, and then I'll pray about it. Sometimes I'll be told, do this and this and this, I'll do, and then I'll see the outcome. Do you understand? So I used to be told, fihla abantwana, hide the kids. And I couldn't understand what's the meaning of this. There's a lady where I was working. There's a lady that I was close with. She was my colleague. Her name is Bongi. I wonder where is Bongi. So I used to ask Bongi, you know, I have this dream constantly, and sometimes it becomes as a vision, and I would even see this person telling me that you need to hide the kids. You know, we were so puzzled, you know, we didn't know what's the meaning. Someday I asked my father, I phoned my dad and I asked him that, you know what, this thing is starting to stress me now. I've been constantly having this vision. So and so is been saying, hide the kids. And my father was like, hide the kids from what? You know, my father couldn't understand as well. Hide the kids from what? He couldn't understand. Okay. It went on like that until I had to move out from my younger sister's place to stand on my own, to start all over again, everything. Ne? And then when I was here where I am, then I started to realize that, you know why? You know what? Let me just not speak about these kids because it kept on showing up. This person, these spirits, or my angel, that's how I call them, they kept on saying this, hide the kids, hide the kids. You know, I will dream this one and the same dream even 7 to 8 times a week, in a way that it started stressing me now. All right, time went on. I then decided that, you know why? You know what? Let me just not talk about my kids. And this thing was stressing me because I would pray about it and ask why, but I couldn't get an answer. But today I understand why. Listen to this video, guys. Listen. Go and pour water and drink water. Okay. Where I'm working, okay, I worked. I hide my kids. I didn't tell anyone I have kids. I didn't tell anyone. The only child people knew that I had was Munduza, because Munduza was already here. As soon as I moved into a better accommodation or into a better rental, I went home to fetch her. I think she was a year and a couple of months, because her father passed on when she was 8 months, you know. And I think I had that thing of, I want her near me. It felt like she's not safe wherever she is. But I was 100% sure that she was safe with my parents. I trust them. But Mos, out of all the things that had happened, yeah, I had to go home and take her. I went home, I took her, I stayed here with her. So that's how people knew I have a daughter. They didn't know nothing about my sons. Right, I stayed, yeah, I worked. This thing kept eating me, that I wonder. And it kept coming. I'll tell you when did this dream stopped of hide the kids. That message, hide the kids. And that person was very serious. Okay, I hid my kids like that. I didn't tell anyone I have sons. I continue working. I worked. So during holidays, my sons will come and visit me. As usual, because even way back when I was working and I was not staying home, during the school holidays, they will come and visit me. Right, time went on. That was 2022. June holidays, my sons came to visit. We stood nicely, and I was renting a house. So we stayed there, everything was nice. We enjoyed, bought them clothes. Mommy's working again. So everything went well. Went back home to school. I've been asking myself this even when they were here. It was stressing me. Hide the kids. And that time, June 2022, when they were here for visit, this dream started all over again, and it used to come constantly. Hide the kids, Evan. And the person who tells me that in the dream, they'll tell you, and don't tell anyone. Okay, life went on like that. As stressful as I was, life went on. They had to go back home after the holidays, and then they came back in December holidays. That was when 2022. So every time when they come, they will come with their school reports. I will see everything and as a parent. So time went on. They went home, and then in December, they came back for the holidays. That was 2022. They came back. I remember I went to make my son an ID. Yeah, and then they stayed. We enjoyed, bought them nice things. They really enjoyed the stay, and then they had to go back home because they had for school. They went back home for school. And then, okay, time went on. My firstborn was doing grade 11 in 2023. Yeah, in 2023, he was doing grade 11, ne? They went home. Okay, fast forward, time went on. June holidays, they came for a visit. We stayed, we enjoyed as usual again. December 2023, that's where the problem started. So, yeah, my younger sister actually phoned me towards the end of 2023 and said, you know what? I'm thinking of taking my kids from home. She also had 2 kids from home, a boy and a girl. So I said to her, you know what, sis? That's a great idea, actually, because if my boys were not doing the highest grades of their high school, I was going to take them as well. But then if you suggest to do that, go for it, baby. It's actually a good idea, it us talking on the phone. And then I'm not so sure how did they spoke about it, her and my mom, but they agreed with everything, because she did took the kids from home, right? Okay, time went on. My mom told me over the phone that your younger sister said she wants to take her kids, she wants to stay with them. Then I said, oh yeah, ma, good shots. I think it's a good idea, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Even me, I would like to stay with my boys, maybe I will take the younger one because my firstborn is already finishing the school, I don't want to disturb him. And then my mom said, oh yeah, but yours, don't take your kids. They're already done. Even the younger one, if you take him, you'll be disturbing him. Remember, these are different provinces, languages and everything. So you will be disturbing him. He's also about to finish. Okay, I didn't take that, in otherwise or anyhow. Okay, it was just a random talk, right? Okay, time went on. Fast forward. Come December, my kids, they have to visit again. Remember, in each and every holidays, they are visiting. Come December, right? They're supposed to visit. Now it became difficult. I couldn't understand. There was a commotion that was going on that I couldn't understand what was going on. I put money as usual. I put the money for transport and for food along the way. They are coming to visit their mother as usual, right? There was that commotion, you guys. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to put it in words. But there was a commotion, a serious commotion. In a way that when I spoke to my son over the phone, my firstborn, asking them how, you guys, I've deposited the money, but now it seems like you are so quiet, speaking about when are you coming and the days are going by and the week is finishing. What is happening? And then I could hear from the phone there's something that he is not telling me that's going on. Okay, and then I cooled down, I waited. And then I asked them, do not forget your school reports. And then he said, oh, okay, mom. But I could feel and see that there's something that is not adding up. And I'm not even told anything. But I tried to keep calm. Okay, I kept calm. I was staying with Munduza and her nanny. Okay. Come the day, they phoned me in the morning, and I ended up not even asking them anything because now I didn't know what was happening. I just told myself that, you know what, I will see them as they come. The other morning when I was waking up in the morning, I was going to work. My elder son phoned me, Mom, we are coming, we're on our way. Oh, okay, I was so happy.